MvM and icebergs. What could possibly go wrong? That's what I asked myself and found this MvM Iceberg by Wolfsmith. Most of the entries were made by him, with a few contributed by me. The iceberg is divided into 7 tiers and contains exactly 100 entries, ranging from well-known facts at the top to obscure and lesser known details in the final tier. For those unfamiliar with the concept, an iceberg is essentially a list where the surface level tiers represent common knowledge, and the deeper you go, the more hidden or forgotten the information becomes. With that out of the way, let's begin with tier 1. Robots are your one and only enemy in this game mode. While mostly having the same weapons and abilities the mercenaries have, there are some robots that are a bit more special. Getting the obvious out the way, giant robots have way more health than regular ones. Some robots have a permanent crit boost tied to them. Some even have weapon upgrades of their own, like dealing more damage. Then there are robots who have special weapons like the Giant Deflector Heavy with a special minigun that deflects any projectile it's shooting at. The Sentry Buster is a special robot designed to counter the Engineer's sentry gun. It spawns once an Engineer's sentry gets enough kills or damage. It then runs straight toward the sentry with the goal to take it out by self-destructing. Its explosion is powerful enough to kill nearby players, but it can also destroy other robots caught in a blast, including damaging giant robots. The Sentry Buster is fast and durable, with 2500 HP, making it difficult to take it down quickly. If your team has multiple engineers, expect more Sentry Busters, since one can spawn for each sentry gun, meaning up to 6 can appear if all players are running the engineer. The tank is a boss that appears in certain waves. Sometimes even multiple tanks can appear in a single wave. Its sole objective is to reach the bomb hedge and deploy the bomb. While the tank doesn't attack players, it makes up for that with a high amount of health, which scales depending on the mission's difficulty. It can't be slowed down or affected by status effects, like Mad Milk, Jarare, the Gas Passer, or the Fan of War. The only way to stop it is by dealing as much damage as possible before it reaches the hedge. Because of this, using critical hits is the most effective strategy to bring it down quickly. You can buy upgrades in an upgrade station, which you'll find inside the defender's spawn and sometimes closer to the front lines like in Rottenburg. When you walk up to one, a menu pops up showing all the available upgrades for your class and weapons. To buy upgrades, you use credits earned during the mission. These can be spent on class upgrades like reducing damage from bullets or explosions, or on weapon upgrades for your primary, secondary or melee weapons, such as increasing damage or speeding up reload time. You can also refund any upgrades you have purchased at an upgrade station, which will give you all of the credits you have spent on upgrades. Canteens can be used to store and activate power-ups. These power-ups can be bought at an upgrade station, but only if you have the power-up canteen equipped in your action slot. These are the following power-ups you can use with the canteen. The Ubercharge canteen gives yourself an Ubercharge for 5 seconds. The Crit Boost canteen gives yourself critical hits for 5 seconds. The Ammo canteen refills your ammo and clip instantly. The Teleport canteen instantly returns you to the respawn room and gives you a temporary speed boost. And lastly, the Building Upgrade canteen, which is only available for the engineer. Using the canteen instantly levels up all your buildings to level 3. Credits are money piles that can be earned by destroying robots. Destroying regular robots makes them drop small piles of credits, while giant robots and tanks drop larger piles of them. Any class can pick up credits. However, the Scout has a money magnet ability which makes it easier for him to collect them, as well as receiving health, which can even give him overheal. When credits have been dropped from either a robot or the tank, there's a 30-second timer on them before they disappear, which counts as credits being missed. Support robots usually don't drop any credits, but that's not the case all of the time, which can be seen in some of Valve's missions for example. Credits can be used at upgrade stations to purchase upgrades for yourself, like weapon upgrades and canteen power-ups. While you're waiting to respawn, you can spend credits to skip the timer and instantly come back by pressing H. The longer your respawn timer is, the more it will cost, but the price slowly drops every second until you're brought back normally. Scout always has the shortest respawn time at just 3 seconds, which also means his buybacks are always the cheapest compared to other classes. The F4 key is used to show if a player is ready to start the wave and can be toggled on or off. If all players are ready, then the wave automatically starts after the 10-second timer. The more experienced a player is, the faster they can ready up, since they already have the knowledge on what to upgrade and where to position. You also have the people that are a bit on the impatient side. They might spam their toggle to ready up and use these things called F4 binds to encourage other people to also ready up to start the wave. Caligula's Caper, better known as Wave 666, takes place on Ghost Town, a Halloween version of Cold Town. What makes Wave 666 stand out is that it only has one wave, but it goes on for a long time. Depending on your team, it could take up to an hour to beat the mission. And if the robots manage to deploy the bomb at any point, your team has to start all over from the beginning, which means teamwork is absolutely required to beat this mission, since it's more on the harder difficulty side. Wave 666 can only be played on the bootcamp mode, therefore there is no reward for completing it. Oh, and the robots are replaced by zombies just for this mission. Man Up is one of the two ways you can play MvM, and it's the mode where you can earn actual rewards. To join a Man Up match, you'll need at least one Tour of Duty ticket. Let's use the 2 Cities campaign as an example. Since it takes 4 missions to complete the tour, you'll need 4 tickets to get the full tour reward. Most campaigns reward you with bot killer weapons, but 2 Cities is a bit different since it gives out killstreak kits and fabricators instead. Also, when you finish your first mission in any campaign, you get a badge tied to that specific tour. Bootcamp is the other way to play MvM, and it's basically the free version of Man Up mode. You don't need any Tour of Duty tickets to play, but that also means you won't earn any rewards for completing missions. Bootcamp includes some missions that aren't available in Man Up, most of which are designed to be easier and more beginner friendly, with the exception of Wave 666 of course. Bot killer weapons are basically stock weapons with a robot head attached to them, but unlike the stock versions, these always come in strange quality. You can earn them by completing a full tour in Man Up mode, with the exception of the 2 Cities campaign. Here's what each campaign gives you. Oil Spill drops rust and blood bot killers, Steel Trap gives you silver and gold bot killers, Mecha Engine also drops silver and gold, but the difference is that the bot heads are from engineer robots instead of heavies. And finally, Gear Grinder rewards you with Carbonado and Diamond bot killers. Australian weapons are golden reskins of specific weapons, and you can earn them by completing Man Up tours. Every campaign except Oil Spill has a chance to drop one. They're pretty rare, with around a 2% drop chance. Prices vary a lot depending on the weapon. Right now the Blutsauger is the lowest selling Australian, while the Islander holds the top spot as the most valuable. The golden frying pan is one of the rarest items you can get in the game. The only way to earn one is by completing Man Up tours, which can drop from any tour except Oil Spill. If a player happens to get lucky and receive a golden pan in a Man Up match, a notification appears and lets everyone who's currently in game know which person just received a golden pan. The Squad Surplus Voucher is an optional item you can activate from the menu before starting a mission in Man Up. When you use one, it gives everyone on your team an extra item drop at the end of the mission on the Squad Surplus section of the loot screen. The items you get from the surplus are definitely not worth it. They contain items from the item drop system, which means 99% of the time you're gonna get regular weapons. But if you're extremely lucky, you'll get a regular cosmetic that's worth like 2 revs, while the surplus ticket is like $2. Also, please note that you can't use the surplus tickets to gain access to Man Up mode. You need to buy the Tour of Duty ticket to play Man Up. 2 Cities is one of the campaigns available in Man Up mode. It was the last tour added all the way back in 2013. Most MvM players tend to stick with 2 Cities because it offers a better return on investment compared to other campaigns. That's thanks to the robot parts, killstreak kits and fabricators you can earn, which are exclusive to this tour. Another big reason people focus on 2 Cities are queue times. If you've ever tried queuing for anything other than 2 Cities, you probably know how painful the wait can be. It's by far the most played tour, which makes getting into games much faster. Metal Massacre is an MvM specific achievement that requires you to destroy 1 million robots. It's considered one of the hardest achievements in the game, not because it's difficult to kill 1 million robots, but because of how long it takes. Depending on how often you play, it could take months or even years to unlock Metal Massacre. If your team manages to pick up all the credits in a wave, the administrator will give you an A+ grade, and you'll earn a $100 bonus to spend on upgrades. But getting a bonus wasn't always part of the game. Back when the game was released, there were no credit bonuses at all. In MvM, the Spy Sapper has a cooldown after each use. You can use it to temporarily stun normal robots or slow down giant ones, as well as disable engineer bots' buildings. Triggering either effect will put the Sapper on a cooldown. The Sound of Medicine is an SFM video Valve released to promote the Two Cities update. It shows the mercenaries taking on a massive wave of robots in Rothenburg, while also highlighting all the new features added in the update, like the medic's ability to revive teammates and his new projectile shield. Oh, and it also includes one of the most brutal deaths I've ever seen. Robotic Boogaloo was the first ever community created update released back in 2013. The entire update had an MvM theme and introduced 57 community made cosmetics, all of them being robotic versions of existing hats, like a robotic version of the Ghastly Gibbous for example. Along with the cosmetics, the update also included a reskin of the standard canteen, a bunch of new unusual effects, and even an SFM video to promote the update. Sometimes the wooden barrier on Rothenburg turns completely invisible. It still acts like it's there though. You can't walk through it and it still breaks if a tank runs into it, but you just can't see it. Can someone please fix this? This is a high tour.
Dear God.
High tours are plays that have a high tour count. They can come in various types. First you have the friendly high tour, who will gladly help any new players with advice and tips on how to get better at the game mode. Then you have the silent high tour. They just play MvM to complete the mission and get their loot. They won't use the chat at all, so don't expect any communication from them. Then we have the toxic high tours, the ones every new player is afraid of. While they're not as prevalent as they used to be, they definitely still exist and are more than okay with giving people a bad time. After using the Wrangler, your sentry gun takes a couple of seconds before it activates and goes into automatic mode. You can bypass this by picking up your sentry gun and placing it down when you're done using the Wrangler. This way there'll be no downtime of your sentry gun. If you're playing as a projectile-based class and need to deal with a deflector heavy, try aiming at their feet. Projectiles that are aimed low are much harder for them to deflect, making it an effective way to deal more damage. Most canteens actually have secondary uses to them. Using the crit canteen as engineer when your sentry is up triples its firing rate for 5 seconds. Using the Uber canteen when your sentry is up gives it a shield that blocks 90% of the damage inflicted to the sentry gun for 5 seconds. Using the ammo canteen can refill other things besides your ammo, like your sapper when it's currently on a cooldown, or your metal when playing as engineer. And using the building canteen doesn't just level up your buildings, it also repairs them fully, giving them all of the lost health back. Whenever you're near an engineer bot that's teleporting in or placing a building, the engineer bot automatically pushes you away to prevent telefragging, just in case he spawns in the same spot you're standing. When a sniper kills robots with any of his weapons, the credits they drop will show up with red dollar signs instead of green ones. The difference is that red credits have already been counted toward the credit collection, so picking them up won't change your credit score. The only real benefit is for scouts, since they'll still get the usual health bonus and overheal from picking up red credits, just like they do with green ones. Flaw cancel refers to a pyro player using the taunt activation of the Phlogistinator while being on top of a moving target, which results in the taunt animation being cancelled, giving the pyro a short duration of Uber and a longer crit duration. While flaw cancelling can also be used in regular TF2, it's definitely easier to achieve in MvM due to the robots having more predictable movement. Your secondary weapons can help you flaw cancel more easily, weapons like the detonator and the thermal thruster, as well as the jump height upgrade if you need the extra assistance. 75% tank damage refers to the tank resisting 75% of Heavy's minigun damage, for balance purposes. That includes all of his minigun variants. That's why it's encouraged to use different methods of damage against the tank when playing as a Heavy, and for the medic to use his crit streak charge on other classes other than the Heavy. As a pyro, you deal significantly more damage against tanks when you look up while using your flamethrower. This is also extremely helpful when using the phlogistonator. Since you deal more damage, your charge meter fills up quicker, giving you more opportunities to use your crits. There are a couple of ways to play man-up missions without constantly spending tickets, though it's worth noting that these methods won't get you any loot. The first method is simple: have at least one ticket, queue up for the mission you want, and play all the way until just before the final wave ends. Right before the last robot appears, leave the match. Since the mission doesn't fully complete, your ticket doesn't get used. The second method involves the Steam community market. If you queue into a man-up game, then quickly list your ticket on the market while still in the match, the game won't remove it from your inventory when the mission ends, because you don't own it at the moment. You'll be able to finish the mission and keep your ticket. Just make sure to list the ticket at a high price so it doesn't actually get bought. Also, don't forget to take the ticket off the market afterward if you want to use it again. Again, you won't get any rewards using either of these methods, but they're handy if you just want to play without spending tickets. The blimp is an unused boss that was supposed to be added on the Manhattan map. It was meant to be sort of like the tank we have in the game, but instead of driving on the ground, it was going to be flying in the air, like a regular blimp does. According to the TF2 wiki, it was likely able to attack using a cannon. There are quite a lot of custom MvM missions that feature the blimp boss. It behaves just like a tank, the only difference is that it's in the air, which means classes like the Scout, Heavy, and Pyro have a harder time in dealing significant damage towards it. On Rottenburg, there's a bug involving the wooden barrier. If you use a partner taunt while standing on the barrier, you'll end up getting stuck on it. While that might seem like a bad thing, it actually works in your favor if you're using the airstrike. When you're stuck like this, the game considers you to be in mid-air, which means you get all the airborne bonuses the airstrike normally gives you, without actually needing to be airborne. That said, the effect only lasts until the barrier is destroyed by a tank. Once that happens, it's back to the usual airstrike gameplay. The Reanimator was introduced with the Two Cities update. When a player dies, they drop a Reanimator, which allows the medic to revive them when he uses his medigun on it. Once the health on the Reanimator is fully healed, the teammate gets revived. Using an Ubercharge during the revival process significantly speeds it up. There's also an upgrade called Healing Mastery that increases the medic's healing rate, which also makes revives happen even faster. You have the option to cancel the revive, in which they'll just respawn normally once their respawn timer runs out. Speaking of the Reanimator, you can actually speed up the revive process by rapidly tapping your left mouse button while healing it. Example is the very first official MvM map created by Valve, but it was never meant to be a real playable map. It was built purely for testing the game mode and its mechanics during development. The entire map is covered in developer textures, with 5 bomb paths that all lead straight to the hatch. The map is small, basic, and honestly not very exciting. It also includes a Valve-made mission, but like the map itself, it's nothing special. Just something they use to test how the robots behave. The Beggar's Bazooka is known to be the best rocket launcher to use in MvM, especially after it has been upgraded. The ability to spam rockets continuously with a faster firing speed than the stock rocket launcher, all while not having to reload, makes the Beggars worth using. You also have things like being able to fire multiple rockets, Beggars jumping, and outputting the highest damage out of all the other rocket launchers. However, you definitely need to know how to use it and what to upgrade. I wouldn't advise a new player to jump straight to the Beggar's Bazooka playstyle. Banana teleporter refers to engineers placing their teleporter exit directly on the banana peel in front of the grinder in Manhattan. When a player uses the teleporter, the engineer would destroy his teleporter exit, making the player land on the banana peel and slip into the grinder. This is mostly done to just joke around, but it can also be used maliciously if the engineer hates his entire team. When looking for custom MvM content to play or create, Potato.tf is the main place you want to go to. They have their own website where you can join their servers and play hundreds of custom-made MvM missions for free, featuring custom-made robots, maps, and upgrades. They are also known for making community-made MvM events, in which you can earn medals you can equip and wear by completing a certain amount of missions in that campaign. They usually have a summer as well as a Halloween campaign every year. Just like Potato.tf, Moonlight.tf was a place where you could play custom-made MvM missions. The difference with Moonlight was that they focused more on vanilla-style missions instead of the more custom-made missions that Potato has. Moonlight was also known for their April Fool's MvM events that started back in 2019 and went throughout 2023. In 2024, after their last MvM event, which was called Magnetic Mayhem, the members of Moonlight.tf merged into Potato.tf, meaning Moonlight will not have another event again in the future, and trying to visit their website nowadays redirects you to the Potato website. The gas passer is a secondary weapon for the pyro, which got added back in 2017 with the Jungle Inferno update. While normally not being a particularly strong weapon, buying the Explode on Ignite upgrade for it changes it dramatically. If robots who are covered in Explode on Ignite gas take any sort of damage, they receive 350 damage from the explosion, which means that it can kill every class if it's a normal robot. This makes the gas useful for groups of robots and Ubermedics, since they instantly die by the gas. However, the gas passer has been in a lot of controversy throughout the many years, due to how overpowered and easy to use it is, with some people even refusing to play with someone and judging them if they happen to use the gas passer. It definitely was way worse a couple years ago, but nowadays, while not impossible, it's less likely for you to encounter someone in-game who is strongly against the usage of the gas passer. The Sentry Buster is actually a remodeled demo bot, hence why if you try calling it a spy, the class you're playing as will call it a demo man. It might also play voice lines of the demo man when being damaged, for example. The hit scan hitboxes of the Sentry Buster reveals that it's a Ulapool caber wielding demo bot. You can also see a caber kill icon whenever the Buster destroys a sentry gun or kills a player. If you've ever played MvM, chances are you've been killed by a tank like this at least once. Every map that features a tank also has at least one spot where getting crushed is possible. Now enjoy the tank crushing compilation on every map. The map Manhattan resembles the real-life Manhattan, not just by name but also because they're both in a metropolitan area. Both have large buildings, cars, and subway trains. There's an intermediate difficulty mission on the map Decoy with the name Dose Doom, as well as a normal difficulty mission on the same map with the name Dose Drill, Doe being a reference to the soldier's alias Jane Doe. The reason why these missions with the soldier's alias are specifically on Decoy is because the whole map was altered by the soldier to look like a Manco facility, making it a decoy for the robots. You can tell he tried to alter the map by the amount of signs that are misspelled and all of the white paint. He even signed a contract with Manco, allowing him to quote, "trick the robots." Control-Alt-Destruction refers to the advanced mission on Coal Town. There's also a similar name for an MvM achievement called Control-Assault-Delete, which has to destroy a Sentry Buster before it reaches a sentry gun. The name is a reference to the key combination Control-Alt-Delete, which is one of the most well-known key combinations. Circle stabbing is a technique in which you go around in a circle trying to continuously backstab a giant robot until it's killed. After backstabbing a giant, you're already required to start moving in a circle before it even has you in its sight. Having your movement speed upgraded helps you a lot, as it's harder for the giant to keep up with your speed. It requires a lot of training to pull off, and one tiny mistake can already lead to you getting killed. The more a teammate dies during a wave, the longer it takes for the medic to revive them. Getting revived 1 to 3 times takes the normal amount of time to get revived. After the 4th revive, it takes significantly longer to revive a teammate. And after the 9th revive, it takes literal ages for the teammate to get revived. The bubbles that appear above the hologram also show in which revive level a teammate currently is at, with each level getting more gray and flatlining. Since the Sentry Buster has a head hitbox, you are able to headshot it with any weapon that can deal critical damage on the head, like the Sniper Rifle, Huntsman and the Ambassador. Headshotting a Sentry Buster while having Explosive Headshot upgraded can deal with surrounding robots. Heavy's Knockback Rage upgrade can be used to launch boss robots into the air by standing beneath them and firing upward, making them go up in the air. When they land on the ground, they take a huge amount of fall damage, making this a decent way to deal with bosses if you can manage to pull this off multiple times. Zigzag V is a well-known person in the MvM community who specializes in analyzing various mechanics, like for example the bot AI, which he has written a full-on Steam guide about them, explaining how they work in detail. He also has a YouTube channel where he posts videos about inner workings of the game mode. I definitely recommend you to check out his videos, they're very informative. Robots usually stay focused on whatever is directly in front of them, meaning they rarely look behind if they already have a target. This opens up opportunities to attack from behind, without drawing their attention. It's especially useful for classes like Pyro with the Backburner. One of the best examples of this is on Manhattan. If you hide behind the robot drop point, you can ambush them from behind. You can even take advantage of it by placing a sentry behind robot lines, on maps like Cold Town, to deal steady damage. As the name suggests, two-manning is the act of playing MvM missions with only 2 players on a team. It requires immense skill, teamwork and communication to pull this off. While the beginner missions are pretty easy to get through with 2 players, the more difficult ones take several hours to complete. Also, every official Valve MvM mission has been completed with 2 players. That's kinda scary to think about. Before the July 25th, 2023 update, which gave the robots pushback immunity while they're inside their spawn, it was possible to use the Pyro's Air Blast to push robots back into their spawn. This was primarily done on Big Rock, since it was the easiest map to do it on. Air blasting robots back into their spawn was mostly done to delay and grief the game, making it near impossible to continue with the game unless the Pyro was dealt with. The pushback immunity the robots have nowadays makes this griefing method basically impossible. TacoBot is a group of MvM players that are against cheaters and players who support cheaters in MvM games. They have a website under the name tacobot.tf where they have a list of players that have used cheats or supported the use of cheats by other players. That is current time TacoBot I'm talking about though. If we go back in time a couple years ago, they were quite a bit different than nowadays.
You're so fucking trash, dude.
Typical zero tour.
This is me and my 4 friends.
Buddy, you joined into a game with fucking gods in it? You might as well just fucking leave.
Get the fuck off the fucking gas caster! I will idle this entire fucking wait.
You, the medic, and the fucking heavy are not completing on this fucking server. You have my fucking word.
Annoying, idle, shit, troll. Self-explanatory. Trash, arguing, lever, ape, gas. Trash talk.
While probably not all TacoBot members being this toxic, most of them were definitely not friendly towards people they disliked. Whether it be a personal grudge or being new at the game mode, there was a good chance you would not have a pleasant time when one of those guys came into your lobby. Nowadays you barely see one of them in game, and even if you did happen to, they probably don't care about what you do, unless you're a cheater. PizzaBot is another group of MvM players. However, they are the complete opposite of TacoBot, since they use and condone the use of cheats in MvM, using their cheats freely in man-up mode while being against so-called toxic players. They used to also have a website like TacoBot, where they would list players that are against cheating by marking them as toxic players. Anyone who opposed the use of their cheats would basically get the same toxic treatment TacoBot used to do. Broken Parts is one of the 2 advanced missions featured on the map Big Rock. One of the things that makes it so special is how many credits you get on this mission. If you include the starting credits as well as all of the bonuses you get each wave, you will end up with 9,450 credits before facing the final wave boss. More than enough to max out almost every upgrade. Back when MvM released in August 2012, you had almost all of the mercenaries as robots. Everyone besides the engineer. In the MvM trailer you cannot see any engineer bots, since they didn't exist yet. People had to wait 4 months after the release of the game mode to see the engineer bot in action, with the Mecha Engine Tour and the Big Rock map. Any tour released before the Mecha Engine Tour will not have any engineer bots, meaning Oil Spill, Steel Trap and Gear Grinder don't have any of them, since they didn't exist yet. The Sandman can fully stun robots if the ball travels a long enough distance. You have to stand pretty far away for them to get stunned. You're able to stun regular robots as well as giant robots, which includes sentry busters, making them unable to move for a couple of seconds. This works great as a support tool, making it easier for your teammates to hit their shots. Now legal to eat refers to the MvM achievement with the same name. To achieve it, you have to make a robot step into the banana peel and make it fall into the grinder in Manhattan. The easiest way to do so is to airblast the robot into the banana peel with your flamethrower. The upgrade Crit on Kill for Spy's knives is basically useless, as backstabs already deal critical damage, and since they're the main source of damage dealing, there's not really a reason to ever get the upgrade. The only reason on why you might think about getting it is so you can switch to your revolver after getting a kill with your knife, since your revolver is going to have crits for a couple seconds. But I'm doubting if it's really that effective. The engineer has an upgrade called Metal Regen, which as the name suggests, regenerates your metal. The reason why it's useless is because you can just... Or my absolute favorite. Not only that, but it gives you metal every 5 seconds instead of every second like the health regen upgrade. Both on Cold Town and Ghost Town, there's an unreachable health and ammo pack on the top right path. The only way you can even see or reach them is with no clip enabled. While you can only see the ammo pack, if you damage yourself and go near it, you will notice that your health went up, meaning the health pack is also there, but it's completely hidden. In Big Rock, inside the cave, there's a mine shaft, and occasionally you can see some empty mine carts coming out. However, sometimes a screaming red spy will be in one of them, as he falls into the water and dies. All Big Rock missions feature the shortest respawn timers out of all official missions, with the minimum respawn timer being 2 seconds and the maximum being 4 seconds. Considering Big Rock has 2 advanced missions featured in the Mecha Engine Tour, it's quite puzzling why they have such a short respawn timer. Perhaps Valve forgot to change them. Even something like Dose Drill, which is considered to be the easiest MvM mission, has a longer minimum and maximum respawn timer. There are several voice lines that would play when picking up credits for the Engineer, Medic, Heavy, and Soldier that are in the game files but go unused, while there are some of them that are actually used, like Medics
Ooh, money!
and Soldiers.
Wah, the spoils of war.
Most of them are not being used.
Giddy up, boys! Grab that money! Grab that money! Woo! Look at all that money.
We must collect money! Come, help me pick up money! Money will not wait forever! We are losing money!
Come on, collect the money! Free money! Free money! Everyone, free money! Grab that cash, boys. We earned it.
There's an unused sound for credits that was supposed to play when they expire. In-game, giant robots all use the same generic step sounds whenever they walk. However, there are unused step sounds in the game files for each giant robot class, besides the medic because... yeah... As stated on the update page of the Two Cities update, going over to the Rothenburg section, it says, quote, "The second of our two cities finds the Mercs defending the medic's vaguely European hometown of Rothenburg." On day 1 of the MvM update page, the tank is being described as followed, quote, "We don't know what this thing is, but it's big as hell, looks unstoppable, and it probably runs on human blood." We're just guessing that last part, because it's usually covered in it. Whenever your sentry gets destroyed by any means after a sentry buster has spawned in, we'll make the buster go after the location of your previously destroyed sentry gun. It doesn't matter if you build a new one when the buster is still active. It will always go after your past sentry gun. Oricom 5 is a TF2 player that's known for deleting their golden frying pan back in early 2015. Since deleting a golden pan displays an in-game global message showing people who just deleted their golden pan, people were outraged. Almost immediately people swarmed Oricom's Steam profile, leaving angry comments. Many saw it as a waste of one of the rarest items in the game. Surprisingly, even a decade later, people still visit his profile to express their frustration or hatred over his choice to delete his pan. Retry refers to an exploit involving the retry console command that was commonly abused in MvM back in 2020. The retry command disconnects you from a server and immediately reconnects you to the same one within seconds. Players discovered that doing this would reset the wave start timer. This led to people abusing the command to prevent the wave from starting. They would wait until the timer was nearly finished and then use retry to reset it over and over again. Thankfully, this exploit was patched in a December 3rd, 2020 update and can no longer be used. The second upgrade point for most miniguns doesn't work and is broken. However, only the second point is broken. The first, third and fourth points work as intended. For the Tommy Slav, it's the first point that's broken, and the remaining 3 work as intended. About 2 years ago, a major exploit surfaced that allowed players to easily gain infinite credits using the TD buyback console command. The method was simple. You join a match, spam the command in the console before selecting a class, and once you finally picked a class, you'd spawn in with enough credits to max out all your upgrades right from wave 1. Almost every game had a few players abusing it, making it nearly impossible to enjoy a normal match for several days. While that particular exploit has been patched, there are still other methods people use to get infinite credits, which I won't get into. I just had to make sure to mention this so people in the comments won't. There are 2 types of bot killers that are unused, one of them being the uranium bot killer, which looks like this, as well as a mirror bot killer one that looks like this. It's not known if these were planned for a new tour or if they got replaced by the ones we have in game, but since MvM doesn't get any new content updates, it's safe to say that we won't see these in game. If an Uber medic has its charge ready and drops below 50 HP, it will immediately activate its Uber. Because of this, classes that deal constant chip damage like Pyro and Heavy should avoid using their primary weapons on Uber medics and switch to other options like their melee weapons, for example, or Pyro's gas passer. In Big Rock, there's a way to make yourself pretty much invisible to the robots, meaning they won't shoot at you at all. To achieve this, you need an engineer to place his teleporter exit on this specific rock. After that, it's important that you take his teleporter after he has placed it on the rock. After you have taken the teleporter, make sure not to fall to the ground and stay on top of the rocks. That way you are completely invisible to the robots, giving you an easy time with sniping them. When someone readies up, their ready up voice line plays. When that happens, everyone's mouse moves like they're saying the voice line, even though they're not.
Y'all ready?
I am ready.
Let's go, mates.
Being able to refund upgrades was introduced in the Two Cities update. Back when refunds were new, you had to earn the ability to refund upgrades by collecting a certain amount of credits. And even then you could refund only one time before having to earn the refund upgrade credit once again by collecting enough credits. They decided to remove that system and now you're able to refund whenever you want to. Just like the name of the entry says, buying the knockback rage upgrade for your minigun, then changing your class to any other class, then switching back to heavy, makes your knockback rage last significantly longer. Even though it has been fixed already, before that, if you tried to fire your huntsman arrows when you were Ubered by a medic, the arrows would instantly break, making your huntsman useless until the medic stopped Ubering you. When activating your projectile shield as medic, looking directly up or down will move the shield closer to you. This can help you block incoming projectiles even more. The best part is that you can body block giant robots this way, without them doing any damage to you or your teammates. There's a bug in MvM that causes a sentry buster to instantly explode under certain conditions. To trigger it, you need to be carrying your sentry and have the jump height upgrade maxed. Using Manhattan as an example, once the sentry buster spawns, grab your sentry and jump onto a high spot, like these barrels for example, using your upgraded jump. Doing this can cause the buster to detonate immediately, even while it's still inside the robot spawn. This trick works on other maps as well. Every single robot, no matter the class they are or if they're a giant or non-giant, will ignore the engineer's teleporter. You could literally put it right in front of them and they would not attack it. The only way a teleporter might be destroyed if a sentry buster or a giant robot steps on it. On a successful headshot against a robot with the explosive headshot upgrade for the sniper makes the target and the surrounding robots slow down temporarily, giving you an easier time to follow up more headshots. This feature wasn't a thing in the beginning. It was added 3 months later after the MvM update with the addition of the oil spill and gear grinder tours. As a disguised spy, if the patient of the giant medic dies while you're standing in front of the medic, you can trick it into healing you since it doesn't have a target to heal now, making you its newest healing target. It's not very practical, but the fact that you can have a robot medic girlfriend is definitely very fun. Ghost upgrades refer to hidden upgrades that don't normally appear in the upgrade menu. A common example is the firing speed upgrade for the soda popper, which is one of the most well-known ghost upgrades. There are many other weapons with similar hidden upgrades, but I won't go into the specifics on how to get them, mainly because I'm not a fan of using ghost upgrades myself. When a sentry buster is active when your team loses to the robots, it can actually use its caber to hit and kill you without exploding. Inside the robot's spawn on Big Rock, there's an incredibly tiny time frame where they don't have their spawn protection upon spawning in, meaning you could technically kill them before they even come out of their spawn. Using crit boosted stickies and detonating the second they spawn in can kill them. Depending on your damage upgrade, it can even kill giant robots. Soldier bots who are equipped with the Cow Mangler don't know how to use their charge up shot, since they're not programmed to do so. In some of the custom MvM missions, they actually made soldier bots smarter, and now you can see exactly how that would look like. There's an unused robot scout boss that has an incredibly fast movement speed. We're talking about a plus 700% movement speed bonus, clocking in at 3200 hammer units. If you want to take a look at how this would even look like, be my guest.
Alert! Do not let the bomb hit the head. You've lost the way.
Depending on the skill level of a robot, the color of their eyes can change. Easy and normal level robots have blue eyes, while hard and expert level robots have yellow eyes. The launch of the Jungle Inferno update added new weapons for the Pyro, and most of them were completely broken and overpowered in MvM for a couple days. The Dragon's Fury had a recharge rate upgrade, with each point giving it a 15% faster firing speed. This is what it looked like if you maxed the upgrade out. Then we have the Thermal Thruster. If you didn't know, it has an upgrade that stuns robots around you when you land. However, you can only stun regular robots with it, but back then you could stun literally every robot, including giant robots with the same upgrade. And lastly, we have the Gas Passer, which was even more overpowered than it is nowadays. Using the Explode on Ignite upgrade on the gas instantly charged the meter to full whenever multiple robots were affected by the explosion of the Gas Passer, essentially giving you an infinite amount of Gas Passer to spam all over the place.
Look at this shit. I got another gas already? What the fuck?
When zapping the NG-bot's teleporter with the stock zapper, the engineer bot will remove the zapper as expected. However, using the red tape recorder on its teleporter will make him not want to remove it, like ever. He just accepts the fact that his teleporter is going to get destroyed. If you knock the bomb carrier into the pit inside the cave and then kill it before it falls down, the bomb is going to be stuck in the pit, which means the robots won't be able to pick up the bomb for the remainder of the wave, since all Big Rock missions feature a bomb without a reset timer. There's an official endless mode that never got officially released, as well as being very buggy. You can enable it with the following console command. In this mode, robots upgrade themselves in between waves with predefined sets of upgrades, like healing on kill or a damage bonus. Problem is that most of these upgrades don't work. Other than that, losing a wave sets you back to wave 1, regardless of how far you have come, and waves start instantly after being completed, so time to upgrade is very short. During the development of the community-made Robotic Boogaloo update, there were plans to include a full MvM mission as part of the release. The mission is set on Manworks and consists of 7 waves. It was designed to showcase the new robotic-themed cosmetics featured in the update. Robots in the mission would wear these cosmetics, including some that never made it into the final update, like robotic versions of the Balloonicorn and Bill's Head. It also introduced robot variants not seen in official MvM missions, such as vaccinated medics and soldiers using the Beggar's Bazooka. Unfortunately, Valve decided not to include the mission, and it was never made official. While the mission itself may not have been anything special, it still would have been a fun addition to the update, and a cool opportunity to see a community-made mission featured on Valve's servers. The link takes you to a fictional newspaper article announcing that Manco has invented a robot designed solely for violent purposes. What makes this particularly interesting is when it was created. It dates back to the release of the Classes update in August 2009. That's 3 full years before the official release of the Man vs. Machine update. It's not known if this is meant to tease the MvM update or not. There's not much more known about this entry. And that wraps up the entire iceberg. I hope you learned something new along the way. Huge thanks to Wolfsmith for helping me put this together, and for explaining some of the entries I wasn't familiar with myself. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out, and this video took quite a while to make, but in the end it was absolutely worth it. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye bye.